You are in the Chronic's Rabbit Hole, and Lone Wolf, thank you so much for your Patreon membership request. You are bringing yourself down the rabbit hole, and we are super excited because today we are going to be reacting to Chapter 2 of your series, the spoken word concept short story series that you have, and it is titled Fort Qu'Apelle. This is Chapter 2, The Window.
Well done, and we also have a write-up to see what Chapter 2's context is before deep diving into it. And from Chapter 1, this was one of my favorites from you so far, Lone Wolf Poetics, so I'm very excited for this one too, and I hope all the Chronicans are as well. Lone Wolf, hope you're doing great. Chronicans, thank you so much for being here. So this is the second chapter, like we mentioned, of the Fort Qu'Apelle, and it is entitled The Window. This time, the point of view is from yourself after the traumatic event. The chapters with this character were filmed in your grandparents' basement in Fort Qu'Apelle. That's really cool.
Very cool.
My thinking for this character was to show how and who I am during a PTSD episode. You'll notice that this character is more aggressive, negative, blunt, and angry. Trapped inside a tiny basement, the feeling is that I am being held prisoner. Also, there are 8 different chapter videos in the saga. The 9th video is the mega video with all 8 chapters all compiled in one 24-minute video, because we were a little confused when we looked at that one time, and now we've clarified that for us as well. And I know that's a tough place to be in, having a PTSD episode, and I can understand all those emotions that you go through, and especially if you feel like you're trapped in a prison, that's what's going to come out here. So let's see how it is portrayed now.
I'm really curious to see how you portray this as well, because as somebody who has a PTSD diagnosis...
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this is going to be portrayed, because definitely when you're having one of those episodes, you do feel like you're trapped. You do feel like you're in... It's almost like an out-of-body third view experience of it in memory, because when you're in that moment, you can't get out of it, and then when you remember that moment, you almost remember it third person. So it's a really interesting situation to be in.
Okay, y'all, the window when you're feeling trapped. All right.
I have been missing for 3 days now. I know that because there is a tiny window high up on the wall of this cramped room where I have been kept, locked away, hidden, forgotten, imprisoned. That window so high up on the wall is my only way to tell time.
One thing I just want to say, I like already the lyrics, but it's hard on the ears here, so I think it would have been a little smarter to not have it so static.
Yeah.
And that's just being like not hypercritical or anything, but I think it would be easier to hear this part, but it's also, I think, trying to express how that feeling is in there, because it's like almost a daze when you get in that moment, and like it's almost like being kidnapped when you become in that.
I hear what you're
It's
saying,
the only thing keeping me sane. The only way for me to see the sun. But the last couple days I have not seen the sun. The last couple days I have seen nothing but a thick, thick fog. A thick fog that eventually gives way to dark, dark clouds. Clouds so dark, in fact, they rob me of my only entertainment.
Tough spot to be.
Using the shadows of late January light to cast plays on the walls of my prison cell room. I call them plays, but really, They have more resemblance to a Rorschach test than anything else. But what more do you expect from me? I don't even know where I don't even know where I am or why I'm here. Well, I guess that's not completely true. As I gaze up at the window, a window that, even if I wanted to, is too small for me to fit through. Trust me, I've thought about it. I suppose I do know where I am. Vaguely. I have an idea anyway. Not that it helps me in the slightest. But I think I'm in a place called
Wow, how do you get out of that room? And that's quite the realization coming as the lyrics or the spoken words are being said there, and realizing like, how do I get here? And if you're saying that it comes from like a third person when you're in that moment, you eventually realize like, okay, I get where we're here now. Now that we're here, I understand. I can look here to get some comfort, but even now that I'm back here, the comfort's not even happening because the black fog is blocking the sunlight in those moments too. So I bet when you go back to the PTSD, sometimes it's a lot harder. Sometimes maybe you can have a little comfort in there, or maybe that's what I was interpreting a little bit there, because coming into the realization, that's sometimes even the harshest thing. And then it's like that having no release from it is intense. So seeing how this came from chapter 1 with the Fort Qu'Apelle, and how now we're in Fort Qu'Apelle, which is now the prison that you were saying, you're tying it all together here. So I'm excited to see what the third one is too. It was very jittery too, so it felt like you were in that state almost too, and that's what you were trying to represent. So it was uneasy as well, and that was, I'm thinking, the tone you're trying to get out.
Absolutely. And I really like the unease and then the little bit of laughter that was in there, because when you're in those moments, there is a bit of mania that happens. You get a little bit manic.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so that little bit of
Joker
laughter, the little bit of the little bit of the Joker in you in those moments. I bet the Joker had PTSD from something that had happened or what he had done himself. Yes, he did,
especially from the Joaquin Phoenix ones.
Yeah, the Joaquin Phoenix ones. Yeah. So it was really so I really liked that introduction of the little bit of laughter, the little bit of manic, almost like manic depressiveness that is kind of within there. Yep. And within that PTSD that you were kind of like trying to embody, because like I really think you really did embody that very well as a character, because you were able to also express the what's the word I'm looking for, the reluctancy to admit one's own false doings,
right? Okay.
In that moment of being like, well, I guess I know where I am. I guess I know how I got here. You know what? You're right, but I don't really want to admit it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I really felt coming through in this. It really resonated, eh? It really resonated, because I don't want to admit that that's something that I did, even though it is something that I did. And that's a big thing about PTSD, and when you have those out-of-body experience moments.
I feel like I've seen you in those moments too, and that almost kind of helps, and that's kind of what you're also helping too, because in these things that you're bringing here, you're also wanting people to know that there's other people struggling through some of the things that you might be struggling through as well, and just to give you, for people who aren't in those moments, just some realization of what people are going through that have that with them. And that really is helpful for, say, someone like me who doesn't really have a full, true PTSD moment, I would say, and I'm not diagnosed like you. So that's definitely, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So I'm really sorry that that is affecting a lot of people, and really courageous for you to put it out for other people to see it too. So hopefully it was healing for some people as well, because it was definitely a mood changer, and that's, it was, and that's what you're also wanting with something because you want it to be impactful. So this was definitely impactful. So hopefully you guys had a good time too. If you want to see the next chapter, definitely stay tuned because I think Lone Wolf might want to see some more of that, but you never know. And also go and support Lone Wolf on his channel if you did like this, and go view even this video on his channel too to give him some support. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with us today. And if you ever want to share anything in the comments about some of the things you have gone through, you have a community and family here. We are now exiting the rabbit hole, folks.
Thank you so much, Lone Wolf, for this video and for this deep dive into your 8-part chapter series. I'm really excited to see what else is going to be coming down the rabbit hole and where this story is going to continue. Thank you again, Lone Wolf. Peace and love, everyone.
God bless you.
Take care, and bye for now.